Hi, my name's Leanne Durrington and I'd like to introduce you to a documentary, The Bus of Hope. This is the most amazing story. This story of 15 people taking a bus all the way to Alice Springs to not only share their story and learn from others, but to take information back to their community, address what many of us would say was a very deep and disturbing issue for all of that community. So this heartfelt story is a group of 15 Aboriginal people who went to a national conference so they could showcase what they've done for their community.
Kuari ngalandam kuari ngala dunyangu beninga pale nyangoro korun ba ngaldo jara ngala yungaral len ko nyaara ni nyanga pale nyangoro jonganya bijale ni yala je ma bijale ni bal nyal ko ligi je walju mono kam Kolia kuari nganya cukur panganya kolia mola jago bale nyano. I am personally on this trip because I have lost a young brother who committed a suicide and he took his life, and I am doing this because of him. This is the Bus of Hope, and we hope that we will get a lot of good things out of it, and it's also a remembrance of those that we lost. And like I said, that I have lost a young brother in this suicidal thing, and a young nephew as well too. In the old days, suicide wasn't heard of. This isn't our culture. Our culture was being with their families and going out in the bush and learning the things what they learn us. Suicide comes from it comes really from the white people of the alcohol that they introduce and the drugs that they introduce. This is where it all come out. My forefathers has been doing a good message by sending smoke signals and doing a ceremony as well too. That was the good things that met with the fire, and for the fire to go down, it's like the human goes down as well too on the drugs that they are hooked on, and the alcohol that they are hooked on. And I say that the fire is the healer of life. We have had a spate of suicides in our small little town. We had about 4 in a small, short time. Our young people, our future generation, are the ones who are starting to take their lives, and we're trying to stop that. The last time we had the ceremonies in Leonora, it was a long time ago. It was well and truly back in the 70s, mid 70s maybe, or even earlier than that. So all this ceremonies that we used to have here is gone by the wayside because of institution pushing us into this white arena, and we have to do what we have to do is bring our people back, our younger people back into that arena, so that they can understand the ethics, values of life, how they should treat one another. The drugs are getting hard and heavy. They're looking for a high, but they're searching in the wrong places. These highs are not of our world. So we got nephews and nieces that are going into this arena. They're not sleeping for weeks on end because this drug is keeping them up, keeping them going. So we wanting. I'd like that our young people get back to coming back to the culture and coming back in the culture in the right way. If you really want a high, come back to your culture, because I believe that is the thing that is missing in our lives, in our children's life.
I thought about when all these things happened. I cried because they were nieces. There was a grandson, and they were, families that I watched grow up. And I thought, well, I'm not going to stay. What I want to do is I just want to find out why, because there was no answer why they done it. They've gone, and all we could do was cry.
I reckon they should set up a like a youth. I don't want to say youth mission. It's something like that, where these children have this company where they can go on camps and all that sort of stuff. We need a bus of hope for youth. That's what we need. Somewhere the kids can travel Australia, I guess, see their country. Blacks and whites. Doesn't have to be just the one colour. It can be, multicultural colour. They can go out camping out, have an experience of how to sleep on the ground, have the actual camping.
What really needs to be put into place, where the government needs to help educate and to train our people up to be counsellors in their own communities, to have an ear for a door open at all times. When if somebody is hurting, someone wants to talk to somebody, there is a door open.
They do need drug and alcohol counselling there, because this is where they have to start, because they're all too young, and they're starting too young in their home. They need access to Lifeline, Beyond Blue.
Some focus should be on the family core, like the family being supported to be a family, and to have that strengthening of families, so that the youth are strong enough when they leave.
There's no family structure no more, and children are getting put into grandparents' care and losing family members at a young age themselves. So they got all this and loss and grief, and there's a whole range of issues that these young people carry with them, and it's hard for them to offload.
That's what life is all about. It's about keeping the families together, and I think that's why our children, they yearn and desire for their families to be there for when they are hurting.
As we go along this bus of hope journey, I like to sing a song. It's about a healing song. It's about when we lost our loved one and we move on to another rock hole, or so on. We travel that journey. This song means that we are traveling together and we are going to a destination that we don't know what's over the horizon, and we are traveling away from the loved ones that we just lost, and we're looking for that new a land that will heal us.
So you've settled in? Good on you. We've been I'd like to say, reiterate Tom's words and say, this is it. This is our first national Indigenous suicide prevention. So, yes, and we're all here. So we come together, and Leonora, you represent our spirit. Leonora took it upon themselves to get their community together, get themselves on a bus and drive all the way to Alice Springs. So yes, we're all special, but you actually represent our hearts. Thank you, Leonora. And they call their trip a journey of hope. We come in hope, we will talk about the hard issues, and we will grieve, because it is a suicide prevention conference.
The feeling is very tiring, and it's been a long travel coming across over here to this conference to hear what needs to be heard.
This conference is about bringing people together from across Australia with a big focus on people who don't get their voice heard very often, and that's from really remote Australia and other minority groups within Australia. And so it was just so encouraging and so gratifying to see that the Leonora mob, in a period of great sorrow within the community, were able to to recognise that they wanted to come across and join us at the conference. Everybody here is just elated at what they've been able to achieve, and I think it's so important for our mob in Leonora to know that they're really appreciated. They're loved by people here. We want to hear their story. We hope that we can share some of our story, because this conference is about hope, and it's about understanding that none of us are at blame, at fault. There are things that happen in our lives that affect our lives, and we need to learn and maybe look at some ways that we can help each other, and to develop a network of people to know what resources are available. And so it's great to see the Leonora mob. As I mentioned, there's people from the Torres Straits as far across as New Zealand, here, remote Australia, Tasmania, all over the mainland. It's great.
We had the opportunity to work with Richard Evans, whose suggestion it was to have community people going and telling their stories and experiencing and being a part of the whole thing. So our WAFA staff at that stage were the catalysts, I suppose, to assist Richard's vision in coming to reality, that his community were there and they were taken seriously, and that they were really making the contributions as a community.
You know, the bus is a symbol of hope, and it gives you something to get around and get beside. And Richard and the local people were so strong and so committed and keen, there was no going back from it, really. It was going to happen.
The local community coming up and saying, we want to do this, we want to empower ourselves, we want to know how we can deal with this ourselves. That was just so important for me to hear, and also for the community to hear as well.
It was a really great outcome from the Bus of Hope journey was when the people did say they needed local people and local counsellors and people they could relate to and connect with. So we've been able to get some training happening in town. Organisations and in-roles that just suddenly realised how great this project was, and they all wanted to be a part of it. They all just wanted to make it happen. They wanted to see something good come out of it, and I think that's the big untapped resource that we've got when it comes to helping deal with suicide and loss of culture and loss of meaning and loss of purpose. There really are people out there who want to help.
The Bus of Hope is the first step for us. Taking, we want to take young people out on camping trips out bush, doing Aboriginal culture stuff out there, teaching them about our plants, foods, all the foods that we've got out there. It is time for a change. Too young, we're losing young people at a young age, and that's the sadness of it all.